You're like, woo! I finally got some sex from this girl.
And what did you end up doing?
Farting in front of you. Or in my sleep, or whatever.
My wife is a keeper if she farts in front of me.
Hey, let me turn the food down.
Yeah.
Because then it can cook slower.
So welcome back to our channel, Brad and Danielle. So today we are playing the Never Have I Ever. So we come up with a couple of questions and then we
Wait, have you come up with all these questions by yourself, or am I going to come
No, no, today I was just kind of like brainstorming some questions, but there's a website that we can come up with, and if we need to, we can go back on the website.
You hear the music because our son's taking a nap. Our adorable little guy. I feel like he's always sleeping and taking a nap. We'll have to take a video of him. Well, you guys have seen him active, but...
Let me actually turn it down.
But we'll definitely post some more videos because he's very active these days.
Yeah. You're going to see more videos from us, so if there's anything that you like us to do or challenge, you know, comment down.
You'll probably see me talking a lot more in the next couple of weeks. Just.
She's a talker. I mean, yes.
I'm a talker, yet and still he thought I was a big old.
Yeah, she's a talker and she's a comedian.
That's how I got you.
Yeah, you talked me into this relationship.
Honey, you talked yourself into it. You called me your girlfriend on like date number 3.
Yeah, I think I.
You know what they say,
said
guys.
I love
Once
you in
you
my
go. What I thought.
Once you turn what?
Once you, it's like the whole thing, you know. Once you go black, you
I
go
have.
black.
Dead.
It's very true. Okay, first question.
Okay, so let's start with the questions. So
Okay.
I have. Have you ever been into a car accident?
Oh God, yeah, like a bunch.
Yeah.
Worst car accident was I was living back in Michigan, and I was staying actually with my brother and my sister-in-law, and one of my really good friends, Chelsea. Hi, girl. I had dropped her off. We had went out or whatever, just like very cash. And I was literally like 3/4 of a mile, like so close to my house. Literally, I needed to go over one light and make like a turn. I hit black ice and my car flipped over like 5 times. And I totally freaked out.
That's just a miracle itself. Like
I was in my seatbelt. If I hadn't been in my seatbelt, it would have been a lot worse. Totally. I mean, I totaled the car. I ended up in this person's yard in like this ditch, and I got out. There was these teenagers that were driving by, and they were like, "Dude, I saw the whole thing." I'm like, "Okay." I'm like shell shocked at this point. I'm like, "Just take me to my house. My house is like literally right here. Let me tell my family I'm okay," and this and the other. So I go, I get my brother, wake up my sister-in-law. She's like, "Oh my God." She's like, "You probably have internal bleeding," whatever. My sister-in-law's a nurse. I'm like, "I don't know." We go back to the scene, or actually we didn't go back to the scene. The police actually came before we went back to the scene. They were like, "Is that your car? Is that your this?" I'm like, "Yes," blah, blah. They're like, "Why'd you leave?" I was like, "My house is right here. I just thought I could go to my house. We'll go back. We'll call the tow truck, whatever." They were like, "You shouldn't have left." They were like, "We were freaking out because I used to drive my niece in my car. So her car seat was in there." So they were freaking out because there was a car seat that flew out of the car, and they were thinking there's a baby or something. And I'm like, "Oh my God, I didn't even think." And the guy was like, "I've never seen anybody walk away from an accident like that." Cue the waterworks. And I literally busted out crying. I'm like, "Oh, I could have been dead." And he's like, "You're fine." But yeah, that was my worst car accident. And I was in my car accident that I got into with my friend Hai. His name was actually Hai. He's Vietnamese, and we were leaving the mall parking lot, and this person just came out of nowhere, slammed into his car. He busted his head in the windshield, blood spurting out all over the place, and he's like, "You guys, I think we need to call 911." I'm like, "Okay, yeah." I mean, it was insane. So yeah, those are my car accidents.
Wow. I wasn't in a car accident like that, but I was in a minor car accident, like fender benders. But the one that I had was, I was trying to turn a left on up the street, and So I don't know where this car came from, but it came out of nowhere.
It's always
And-
do you realize it's always the phantom cars? Like they come out of nowhere. Like always.
And I stopped in an intersection. I looked left, I looked straight, and when I started turning that left, I was like out of the corner of my eye, I saw this car coming toward me, and I sideswiped
like
it.
the worst.
Oh my god! Stuck in the out of all
Oh,
places.
so that one was your accident. Like,
Yeah,
that was your-
I hit them. But out of
Oh.
all places that it could have happened, it happened right in front of a police station.
Oh my god.
My friend is a cop back in my hometown, and he runs out of the police station, and he's like, he recognizes my car.
Oh.
So he knew, he's like, Brad, what just happened? I was like, I have no idea. Like, I don't even know
So he
what
was
just
like,
happened.
"You're not getting a ticket."
Say
Say
Pause.
the question.
Well, I guess this kind of relates to car accidents. Well, have we nothing to do with car accidents? I don't know why I just said that. But have you ever been arrested?
Yeah.
Wait, what? You've been arrested? Wait.
I have.
Wait. When?
So
Wait.
I was not so good with tickets, my parents would say. And I'm driving around my own little world, and I'm like, do, 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 do. And cop stops me, and he's like, what's your name? And I'm like, oh, like, this is my name, here's my license. Comes back, he's like, so, he goes, 2 things. I go, okay. He goes, you have a suspended license. And I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, not aware. And I'm like, he's like, yeah. And he's like, so, he goes, I'm going to do you a favor. I'm not going to impound your car. We were like by a parking lot. He was like, I'm going to let you park your car. He goes, I'm going to let you call your family. I'm like, okay. And he like was actually very nice. He goes, but you are going to have to come with me. And I'm like, so am I getting arrested? He was like,
You went to jail?
you are.
You sat in a cell?
No, he let me call my parents like before I even like I was like, so Dad, I'm like, I have a suspended license, and he's like, woo! I was like, they're gonna take me to, I can't even remember where I went, like wherever, my town like precinct. And I'm like, he's like, so are you getting arrested? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, okay. He's like, it's for tickets. I'm like, it's for tickets. He's like, my dad was like, as long as it's for tickets, I'm okay with that. So he's like, okay. So he was like, okay, is the officer there? Can I speak with him? Asked the officer, can you speak with my father? He said, absolutely. He was like, we're going to take her down to blah, 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 blah. He was like, if you want to come, he was like, we're going to have to book her. And this is my mugshot, guys. I smiled in my mugshot, and they laughed at me. They were like, why? I go, honestly, I was like, I'm not here for like anything crazy.
Yeah.
I'm like, and if I'm
So
going
you
to
pretty
take a
much got away
picture,
with.
I'm going to take a good picture. My dad met me at the jail. He bailed me out, bonded me out, whatever it was. Basically, we went down that day because my dad was like, we're paying for these tickets right now. They were like, we have to set a court date or whatever. I met with the magistrate. The magistrate was like, look, you got to pay X amount of dollars for these tickets. I was like, okay. My dad was like, she's paying her tickets on her own. I'm not paying the tickets. She's got to bail herself out of the situation. So he put me on a payment plan because I was like 20 or something. And that was that. So yeah.
I wouldn't say it was arrested, but you were taken down the precinct, and were you fingerprinted?
He yes!
Oh.
He booked me. He put the clink on me, put me in the back of the car,
Wait.
and I went to where, and I was like talking to him.
I don't think we know each other.
Oh my God,
I
babe.
mean, we've been married for 1 year now, and this is...
Babe, I
You
gotta...
never told me this story. You never told me this.
Babe, who...
No.
Okay, I want everybody on here to tell me who has not been stopped and or knows someone who has been stopped for suspended license or revoked like something. Most people get tickets or whatever when you're young and you're dumb and you think like, oh, mom and dad are gonna bail me out, or you don't care or whatever it is. Yeah, it happens. I'm not
Okay.
the only one who's been arrested for suspended
We
tickets.
can talk about this later. So,
Oh
next
my gosh,
question.
babe, really?
Next question.
Suspended tickets.
Have you ever gone on a blind date? One of the worst. So my blind date, I gotta tell you, I don't know if I told you this or not, but when I was like within my early 20s, I was doing that whole internet surfing.
Yeah.
And I came
told me.
Did I?
Yeah.
So I ended up meeting this girl online. We were speaking for like a couple months,
Yeah.
and I had chosen to take a weekend off of work, and I drove from Pennsylvania all the way to St. Louis.
Oh, is this the one that like was like?
Oh my God!
I'm pregnant after one day.
I can't. So after the weekend, you know, of doing nonchalant, whatever. So I get back home and I get this call from her immediately. As soon as I walk in the door, she's like, "Hey, I just want to make sure that you're back home safe." I was like, "Yes." I was like, "I'm good. Like we had a great weekend, so let's see where it takes us."
A week,
So
mind you, a weekend. A weekend.
It was just a weekend. So she's like, "So I got some news to tell you." She's like, "I'm pregnant." And remind you, I'm like in my 20s. I have no...
Pause. Women. Now you know she is trying to trap this man. Now, I'm not just saying this because he's my husband. He's fine, okay? He's fine. So she was like, ooh, tall, handsome. I'm about to get him.
But you know what it is?
After a weekend, she knew she was pregnant. Someone called Lauren Lake because that's a damn lie.
Not to say like every woman is like that, but we started our conversations on the phone and I already knew what kind of position she was in. She's like, I'm here on a visa, school visa, and she was looking to marry somebody for a green card. So we got to talking about that. I was like,
well, do like everybody else and pay you $20,000 and have your family hook you up.
She had mentioned that too, but I wasn't about the money. I was like, I wanted to get to know her. So I went, got to know her for a weekend, came back home, and this is what she ended up throwing on the plate. She's like, I'm pregnant. Yeah. Hold up, guys.
A weekend. How do you know in 3 days that you're pregnant? Dying. I can't. I can't.
I got nervous, so I hung up with her. And I asked her.
You got bamboozled.
I got bamboozled. So I asked her, I was like, did you go to the hospital? She's like, yeah, I went to the hospital and I got tested. I was like, okay, fine. I was like, I hung up on the phone. I call around the hospitals and I asked them, I was like, how long does it take a female to get pregnant? So these doctors and these nurses are like, they were floored. Like I guess they were never asked this question. So they're like,
you don't know. Like I didn't know I was pregnant with our son until I was 6 weeks, and I mean, I'm a full-grown adult. I know my period. I know this. I know that.
It's like one nurse is like,
but sometimes it can be.
You can last for like 2 weeks. I was like, fine. But I was like, I got on the phone with her again, and I call her back up. I was like, so this hospital, I want to try to give this hospital a call and see the results. She's like, oh, by the way, I didn't go to the hospital. I ended up taking a home pregnancy test. I was like, wait, what? You just told me one story, and so.
That's another lie.
Long
you
story
take a home
short,
pregnancy test, it's going to come back negative.
That's the last time I talked to her. That's the last time I talked to her, and that was that.
Met this guy out. I was literally like, I had a meeting at work. I told him, let's meet up for lunch. So I was leaving work. I'm like, you guys, I'm meeting this guy for the first time. What should I wear? I brought 2 pair of shoes. I was like, heels or flats? They're like, where are the heels? I'm like, okay. Wrong move. I'm 5'1", guys.
Were you taller than him?
I meet him out.
What was he, like 4'11"?
He was like in my heels because I had
Not to say anything's wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with that, but I'm short and I don't want to be like completely. I mean, my college boyfriend was a short guy, but it was fine. But
I a taller woman. So maybe that's the reason why he said wear heels, because he already knew.
No, he didn't say wear heels. I was trying to debate. I asked my friends like wear heels or not.
Oh, I see.
Anyways, so I ended up throwing my heels on, and I was like towering over him, and I'm like, this is not good. I was like, my heels are like at least like 3 inches. I'm like, okay. I'm like, I don't know. So we proceed to go, to lunch, and we were talking, and he was telling me, again, price checking things, like, oh, I went to, California, I bought this jacket, and it was X amount of dollars, and I think that's crazy to pay this amount. I'm like, it's a leather jacket, leather jacket isn't going to be less than $100. Like, what are you, like, you're paying for quality. And again, he's a little weird. And he was telling me, oh, I have a cat. I'm like, that's great. I'm like, I love people who love animals because that means you're a caring person. Then he shows me his cat and he says, this is what you have to compete with.
Oh, shit.
I'm like,
wait, what?
Your cat? You're telling me I have to compete with your cat? And I was like, weird and awkward.
Yeah.
Bill comes.
Why would somebody say that? In the first
Again,
place?
ladies, I offer. Is there anything you need from me? Tell me, leave the tip. Tell me anything. He's like, no. He's like, you're fine. He was like, no, I got it. I'm like, are you sure? Absolutely. Okay. When you say I'm fine, that means that you have everything taken care of. So he pays for the bill on his card. He pays for the tip with change. Not the change that folds. Quarters.
What?
The type of quarters that you pay your laundry with. The type of quarters you put in a bubblegum machine. I'm like, what the hell?
So he brought these coins knowing that he was going to leave the
I
tip
was
with?
like so embarrassed when the waitress came back to the table that
Yeah, but nowadays a lot of people don't have change in their pockets. So
It
this
was
guy probably
embarrassing.
was sitting on all this change. He's like, oh, I'm going to leave this as a tip.
So I made it an excuse. I met him at the door. I said, oh, great. I was like, nice to see you. I was like, I'm going to run back, and I should have used the restroom before I left. I went back to our table. I saw our waitress picking up the change. I go, I am so sorry. I paid her our tip in cash, and I was like, I will take this. I was like, or you can keep it, whatever you want to do. And she was like, well, at least I don't have to look for any change for laundry. I was so embarrassed. Am I wrong for that?
I don't think you're wrong.
I was like, but tell me, like, oh,
one,
I have change.
a
Do you
woman
have $4 or
doesn't have
$5
to
or
compete with your animal, one.
Well,
Two,
that was just
guys
weird.
never bring change unless it's inside to a date. So
But you can
that's-
bring change, but then don't pay your bill with a credit card and then pay the tip with quarters. Because to me, that's like demeaning. Like, okay, you're gonna give the wait staff
That's so weird.
quarters. Like, that means that you don't value them or their service. Like, you wouldn't just include it on.
Okay, here's
your
the next
card?
question. Have you ever paid a tip in change?
No,
No.
never.
No.
Never.
Guys, have
Those
you
people
ever
pay-
paid a tip in change? Comment below because I want to know, like,
No.
what's your thoughts about that?
I
Ladies
feel
too.
like that's I feel like that's demeaning. I'm like, these people work hard for a living and you're leaving change.
Next question.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, that was really long. Sorry.
Have you ever dumpster dived?
What?
Have you ever dumpster dived?
What does that mean?
Like, go into a dumpster trying to look for, like,
I have not.
no? Like, garbage?
No.
No?
Why?
I don't know. I thought it was
You're-
just an interesting.
you're
no,
about to throw-
I have not.
I was like, you're about to throw up that
No.
I have. Then I'd be like, I don't know you either.
But I've come across some
He's in shock. He's
videos
so
about
shook
people
that I
going
got-
dumpster diving in these like nice areas and finding like these very rare things.
No. My
So-
my college boyfriend's stepfather used to
I wouldn't
not
mind doing
dumpster
it
dive,
once, but
he used to he'd be like, oh, I saw this sitting in someone's like yard, and I went, yard sales. Oh my god, he loved
Yeah.
yard sales.
I'm into that too, like flea markets. But
Yeah,
I
but
remember
he
a
would, like,
story
get up
that
Saturday
this
morning,
guy
that
was
his thing.
dumpster diving and he found this lottery ticket and it was worth like $2-3 million, and that was years ago. Listen, somebody throw away a lottery ticket and then it's winner. $2 million?
Yeah, but
shoot,
you
that's a
have-
rare
How many
occurrence. Like,
dumpsters does that guy have to go through?
I don't
All right,
know.
next question.
Okay. You ever use a fake ID? No.
I
Because
have
when I was
not,
like
but
18, I was looking
I've
24.
not, but I've lent my ID. I've lent my ID. But it was like my twin sister, she didn't have her ID, and I just gave it to her. She was like a couple of people back, and the guy was like, what? He wasn't paying attention. I don't think he cared. It was like on a college campus. Who cares?
Have you ever had a baby spit up on you?
Oh my god. I mean, Elias done it a million times.
I have to tell you a story, and Danielle already knows about this story about my niece,
Yeah.
Brooke. So she was about the same age as Elia, maybe a month or two younger. And I was sitting on the couch, and I was laying down, and I picked her up, and I was like, oh my God, you're so cute, and all of a sudden, bleh! And it wasn't like over my chest or on my body, it was literally in my mouth.
Ugh.
I had to spit it out. Yeah, it was so gross. And my mom was like on the other end of this, the living room, and she's like, oh my God, what happened? I was like, she spit in my mouth. She's like, well, you have to burp her before, you start playing with her. So I ran outside, I go around the house, and I'm puking.
Oh my God. So dramatic.
Dramatic?
Your son did spit up in my mouth, and I'm like, whatever.
No. So yes, that's my story. So
yeah, I
if you were to watch this, Brooke, I tell this story so many times, and she's like,
I have a good one. So this was we used to go to South Carolina and visit my mom's family. We happened to go to a hibachi grill. And one of my little cousins, I won't mention her name because she's a grown woman now, but I don't know if she remembers this. She was still, she was 4 at the time. She was 4. So she's sitting on my lap, and she was telling me, she was like, I'm a little nervous. And I was like, it's okay. I was like, Cheyenne, oh, I just said her name.
Whoops.
I was like, it's okay.
We'll edit that out.
Yeah, yeah. So I was like, it's okay. And she's sitting there, and she's kind of laying on me, and they light the fire for the hibachi grill, and her eyes get big. She looks at me, and I was literally like in a movie, timed like, and cue puke, and she just threw up all over me. Thank God, my cousin Patricia Ann, I love you, had a turtleneck and she had a vest on, so she was like, I can give you my vest, and she was like, you can wear the vest. I went to the bathroom trying to wipe it off, but it was literally like, she just threw up all over me, and I was like, great. I'm like, all right. I'm like, you're lucky, I love you a lot. My other one was, it wasn't me, but it was Darlena, and it was when my niece Jada was like a little baby, and she was holding her, and she held her up, and it was like Exorcist, like projectile, and she just spit up all over.
Just flip it through.
I'm gonna flip you through.
I wish you would flip me.
Oh,
I have been flipped by her. Remember the days that I used to throw you on the bed?
oh my God, babe.
Have you ever been thrown on a bed before? Wait, what? You haven't?
Oh my
Remember the time that I threw you on the bed?
Okay.
Have you ever
Okay,
bullshit?
so going. Never have I eaten a bug.
A bug?
Yeah,
Can a-
never have I ever eaten a bug.
Well, I mean, yes, I have eaten a bug. Does flies encounter like bugs, spiders?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, like, mine was like, literally, I was like 7 years old. I was dared by my twin sister, my friend Colleen, and they dared me to eat a grasshopper, and I did it.
Was it chocolate covered, or was it just a
No.
grasshopper out of the grass, like backyard?
It literally was a grasshopper that was in our backyard, and I ate it.
Okay.
But you can't
Poor little guy.
Yeah, I spit it out, but I was like, they dared me to eat it. They're like, you have to swallow it. And I was like, okay.
Did you eat it whole, or did you eat the head first, the tail first, the butt, the ass, the shit?
Well,
What?
first of all, they wanted me to get one of the, you know, the really big green ones that like have like the yellow markings on their leg, and I was like, no. So I found a little baby one, and I was like, okay, this is like a small one. It's like a brown one. It's like, I can do this. And they're like, do it, and I just bit it. It's so disgusting. The things that little kids do, I swear.
All right, that's never have I ever. Challenge.
If you guys have any more suggestions with Never Have I Ever,
Comment below. Let us know.
ask us some good questions.
So
and
thanks
we'll-
for hanging out with us, and we'll see you soon. So we just gotta show you our son. So we must have bored him.
Because he's completely,
He is
utterly passed out.
out.
This poor guy. How cute
3,
is his shirt, though?
2, 1, out.